Previously on Legends of Aelos, the party slowly begins to depart from Dom's grave to retire for the evening. Much emotion abounds still. While the others head for the hearth and warmth of the house, Cole elects to see if he can find something savory for them to have for dinner first, along with taking a moment to clear his own head. Inside the homestead, Rowan sits with Evie and his mother and father, the two of them relaxing in front of the fire. The conversation is serious, though, a discussion on what had transpired at the festival between the young couple and Evelyn's father. With Evie standing firm in her affection and the threatening gestures and the position of Everett, Rowan confides in his mother and asks that not only Evelyn stay here, but also that Celeste and another be assigned as a personal guard, to which Ella agrees. Rowan then proceeds to invite his love to stay with him until a room can be prepared for a longer-term stay for her, and considering the mention of this in current company, Evie is a fair bit flustered, but happily agrees, there being no question in her heart how much she means to Rowan. Rowan departs with Evie, and Karan takes his place, he eager to help Ella in finishing the remaining robes for the party, the final 3 needing to be finished before their departure tomorrow, as they need to be imbued with the warming magics necessary to survive. And it will be good practice, as it has been some time since he had woven anything outside of garments for himself. Meanwhile, Aurelia and Briar resume a game that they had put on hold, of questions and answers. Aurelia inquires first on regrets, and Bree confides in her lack of action in speaking with Dom on that fateful day. Despite it technically being more questioning, without Briar having her turn, Aurelia presses further on if she had mentioned this to the others, and why not, once told no. Bree confides further, mentioning that not only does she tend to keep all people at arm's length, due to the upbringing she has had, Karan was, in actuality, the first true friend she has ever had. After Briar's humbling answers, it is her turn to question Aurelia, to which she asks if she has ever betrayed the trust of someone close. Aurelia admits that, though it was not her intent, she realizes that her joining the Temple of Light could only be inferred by Porvis as a form of betrayal. Still, despite the admissions, the conversation only seeks to stoking the growing relationship between the two of them, as Bree wraps her cloak around them both. Outside in the barn, Rowan and Evelyn spending some quality time together, mainly with Rowan speaking on memories of Dom, until they are intruded upon by Martisan, though quite unintentionally this time. Rowan and Evie remain quiet as Marty and Celeste enter under the impression that they themselves are alone. Evelyn, not wanting an opportune moment to pass, elects to not so subtly draw the others' attention, to which Marty and Rowan awkwardly acknowledge each other's presence verbally before Rowan and Evie excuse themselves. The couple return to the house and up towards Rowan's bedroom, unsure of whether or not Briar and Aurelia are in there or what they are doing. He gets his answer when he approaches the door, thanks to the alarmingly creaky steps, and Bree answers in naught but her new robe. Rowan attempts to turn away and leave, but Bree snags his collar and questions why he's snooping. Eventually, an extremely embarrassed Rowan manages to get out a request for having his room for the evening, to which they oblige, though he does have to sternly insist that Martisan not stay in the room either, seeing as Celeste has left for the evening. In fact, it takes Asher literally deflating Marty with another enlarge reduce spell, a few knots in a rope, a hold person from Karan, along with an unanticipated warning to finally drive the point home that he will not be joining Rowan and Evelyn nor Briar and Aurelia this evening. It is soon after this that Cole returns from his hunt, he having been successful both in procuring a bounty for a late dinner, but also in partaking in a tradition, this time being the first without his brothers, Cole's silent meditation even more so. as he pondered his family and wishes safety to his kin. In the morning, everyone begins to rouse themselves for a fair bit of preparation, at least if they want to depart for their northern adventure on time. After breakfast, Asher and Rowan head to Thadrax along with Dom's gauntlets and the singular fire opal sufficient for the imbuing to be performed on the cloaks made by Ella and Karun. Along with powdering those, Rowan has his flame tongue improved as well as Bree's thorn whip. Finally, before leaving, Thadrak gives him Karun's glaive, far different than the one once possessed by Grim and Dom. They return after Asher stops off at the general store. They only have enough warming equipment for 6, though Martizan is more than happy to stay behind and mind the homestead. Besides, even if eccentric, he has proven himself to be capable of handling a situation in a pinch. Asher communicates their trek and anticipated timeline to Coria, as she will likely be arriving while they are gone. Cole procures an enhanced ability spell from Asher for his ring, along with some ingredients to help him prepare proper meals to warm them when the night is cold and dark from Ella. With their supply settled and their course set, they elect to take advantage of the current fair weather to start their journey into the tundra of the north. The last message from Rowan, for those that remain, are that if the party has yet to return after 2 fortnights, to evacuate and to spread the message to all, including Cole's tribe. Despite their apprehension to trust outsiders, no one will survive the north if the adventurers were to fail in their quest. As they venture out, the group makes a pit stop at the Knowles encampment to convey the same message to them before continuing off into the expanse. Asher utilizing his polymorphic magics and some bolstering spells, he and Cole assume avian forms to help transport the group north, considering the horses would not last nearly the length of the journey, let alone back again. They travel until dark and set up camp. Briar's tiny hut spell, the one thing keeping the freezing death of the night from encroaching closer than the edge of its dome. Though the hut is a godsend, its warmth, or rather lack thereof once it has dispersed, only reminds the party just how bitter the region they are in, even during the day. Rowan holds out his ignited flame tongue to ease the bite, but, like even their warming garments, it cannot eliminate the penetrating chill. Only those of blood forged deep in the frozen north can truly sustain through the cold without issue. Eventually, on the horizon, before the weather begins to turn, appears a massive frozen river so far that they cannot see across its span between shores. Just before the blizzard hits, Cole recommends that the group tie off to each other so that they might stay together even if visibility drops to 0 due to the snow. As they travel, from what little they can observe, they see ice formations unique to the far north, icicles that look like stalagmites, if it weren't so apparent that they sit where they landed and impact from above lodging them there. As the next day draws to an end, Asher uses his druid craft to foretell the weather, though it only bodes ill, for it is to be much worse over the next 24 hours. They elect to push to the river's edge before setting up camp, though as they draw near, the approaching storm can be heard even before it is felt. Cole and Asher find a sheer rock face that could best shield the encampment. The wind bites down, chilling those susceptible to the bone, and as they approach the intended campsite, the icicles begin raining from the sky, the rumbling from before, perhaps their point of origin. The downpour is relentless, though despite damage incurred, all are able to persist until they reach their destination, and Briar is able to erect her tiny hut spell. Before they bed down for the evening, they debrief on their situation and how incredibly unpleasant it is. Fortunately, the night is peaceful once again after the icicle storm subsides. The few hours of sun they get in the morning help slightly, though nothing outside of the hut is even remotely warm. Still, they persist on across the frozen waters. They monitor where they step, seeing frozen waves as they watch for faults and thinness in the ice. Fog blankets large swaths of the river, and the creaks and cracks of unforeseen fractures and flexion in the ice remind the party just how long and perilous the crossing will be. Suddenly, some begin to notice small holes, tunnels, and burrows dug into the ice. Soon after, glowing orbs appear in the mist, and as their number grow, so too do the sounds of ice cracking as crystalline arachnids approach the party. And it is from here we shall continue the story of the Legends of Aelos.